Okay, we are live. Hello, everybody in the chat. Welcome to the show. We are having a little bit of technical difficulties here with Prepper 101's microphone. So he can hear us and he can see us. We just can't hear no noise coming from him. So he's going to keep working on it, and we're just going to go ahead and push through this thing. And Pinball and I will bounce things back and forth until 101 gets his stuff fixed. Wow, 109 people in the chat. Amazing. I want to thank everybody for coming out today. This is the second session of Prepper Summit, and I want to thank Pinball Preparedness, and I want to thank Prepper 101 for graciously deciding to come up here and hang out with me for a little while and run through some questions. And I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming on here. I would start at the top and go down and say hello to everybody, but we have a limited amount of time because Pinball has a live stream scheduled at less than an hour from now. So I don't want to, I'm just going to say hello to everybody. And then Pinball, you want to do your thing and then we'll get started.
Greetings all. Glad to see some familiar faces. I see some new faces, some different faces that I don't know the names of. So be fun to spend an hour with you guys here. A little different.
Yeah, there's a lot of new names in there. A lot of people came over from your channel, Pinball. I really appreciate that. And everybody that's a new subscriber that just popped in today, welcome. I'm honored to have you here with us. And I guess we'll just go ahead and jump right on into it since we're working on a limited amount of time here. The way this works, guys, is I'm trying to bring a couple people on the panel from different parts of the country or even different parts of the world. 2 weeks ago on session one, we had Homestead Oz was on here from Australia. And the Angry Prepper, Jason, was supposed to be here, but he got called into work last minute. So it was just Homestead Oz and I bouncing things back and forth. And it went really well to get perspectives of what people have to deal with in different parts of the country and different parts of the world. So tonight, if 101 gets his stuff going, we got a California point of view, we've got a Tennessee point of view, and we've got a North Carolina point of view. So with all that being said, we will go ahead and get started. What I'm going to do is just ask a few questions, and everybody on the panel will put their 2 cents in, and we'll just kind of go from there. Okay, so question number one for you, Pinball. Of all of the possible SHTF scenarios, and I'm talking about an EMP, a CME, financial collapse, etc., which one or ones do you think is the most likely to happen, and how would it directly affect you?
Without a doubt, the financial collapse. I think that one is inevitable at this point. We could go on for hours talking about everything about it, but I mean, the stock market is way overinflated. You've got, I've been saying this, we're going to see a 50% drop all year, but now you're getting, big name economists saying that we're going to see a 50 to 75% drop in the market. We're seeing inflation through the roof. They can't keep printing money, until eternity here. You're not going to have a $900 Big Mac, and it's just not going to work. So something's got to give. And, usually the first thing that sets, every country into failure, pick one, Yugoslavia, the Soviet Union, Venezuela, Cuba, whatever would be. When the countries are about ready to have political collapse, economic collapse comes first. And, China is just sitting there waiting in the wings, doing whatever they can to push the economic collapse of the dollar because they want the yuan to be the world reserve currency. So, not only are we doing it to ourselves, but we have outside influences that are helping push the collapse of the United States.
Agreed. And I was thinking about that question myself in my head when I was putting it out there, and I realized one thing too. The financial collapse, to me, it's not going to be by itself. That's like the kick between the legs at the very end. Like if we got hit with an EMP tomorrow or a CME tomorrow or crazy civil unrest, it's all going to culminate in a financial collapse eventually. So it's like the knockout blow.
those, I mean, a CME, that took out the grid, or an EMP or anything like that, any sort of catastrophic event like that would probably be easier to handle than the financial collapse. Because if everything went at once, it would all go for everybody, from the Jeff Bezos in the world to the homeless guy on Skid Row. Everybody'd have nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
No power, no water, no nothing, no money. Okay. But if it's an economic collapse, that's not going to affect the elites as much as it's going to affect the middle class, the lower class, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it would be easier for the country to rally together if you had a colossal event, 9/11, but 1,000-fold, rather than just a collapse of the market. Because remember what you had in 2007, 2008, when the economy was on, life support. Not everybody wound up, in trouble. A lot of people did, but not everybody. 9/11 affected everybody. Now just take both of those events and multiply them by 100.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the financial thing would be just rough. Okay, let's see here. Due to your specific location, do you have to prep specific things, or prep in a way that differs from people in other locations around the country or around the globe?
Oh, absolutely. Everybody's prepping situation is unique. Okay. The guy, I mean, y'all know I moved to East Tennessee from Las Vegas. All right. Let's talk about complete culture difference, or, geographic difference. I'm going from, the desert to, mountains and greenery everywhere. Okay. Trying to find, having water nearby in Vegas I've got a lake, a 2-minute walk from me here. Okay. So I don't have to prep water here. I mean, I'm on a well here. I've got a lake nearby. I'm on the side of a mountain. No big deal. I mean, it's dry as a bone out here lately, but even then there's still water. But it's not like I'm out west where, you're not on a well. There isn't a lake, where if you don't have city water, different. So yeah, I mean, I don't have to concern myself with water preparation. Purification, sure, is not going to change, but access to water is not as critical for me to prep for as it is for somebody in an apartment, somebody in out west, whatever would be like that. So yeah, I mean, everybody's situation is going to be different.
Okay. During your time as a prepper, from the time you started until now, what would you consider to be your biggest success, and what would be your biggest failure?
Oh, wow. That's, boy, there's a deep question. My biggest failure is still the thing that I'm working on currently, and that is backup power, backup heat. Okay, because I don't have a fireplace or anything here. I mean, a lot of you guys know that I just got some solar power to get started with and everything. So that, I mean, since I started till now, yeah, that's my biggest failure. 10 years to get that taken care of, and I still don't have the heat part taken care of. Biggest success, it's got to be one of two things: either learning as much as I can, and how much I've learned is, in a nutshell, is the biggest success. 10 years ago, I didn't know how to. Well, hell, 10 months ago, I didn't know how to can food, but didn't know. I could cook like anybody else. It was, okay, throw something on the stove or in the oven and go from there. I can run a barbecue grill. Now I know half a dozen ways to cook in the bush if I have to. I mean, I've built stuff so I can feed myself. My gardening skills from where they were 10 years ago to where they are now are colossally better. So sustainability in my ability to eat has definitely been my greatest success.
Yeah. We kind of have our paths are really, really similar, because I mean, I'm originally from North Carolina, but I've lived in Florida just outside of Tampa for the last decade. And then
Mhm.
I strategically, I tell everybody I bugged out last November, and I bought this property in North Carolina, and relocated up here. So it's a huge culture change, but it wasn't such a shock to me because I'm originally from the area, you know. But it's and failures versus success. I mean, my biggest failures, I think, was the time I took off from my early 20s, when I joined the military to, several years ago when I got back into prepping, because I was raised on a farm. I grew up canning food, and I grew up, in the prepping lifestyle as a kid until I, left the nest and started jaunting around the world in C-130s. But that would be my biggest failure. Is I feel like I dropped the ball. I would have been better off if I never would have took a break. Um, Biggest success, I'm gonna have to agree with you. It's gonna be the knowledge that you've gained, and the ability to be able to share it. That's what I enjoy. And probably my biggest success, I would have to revise that, and I would have to say getting involved with this community in YouTube. I mean, I've been here 5 months now, and I'm having nothing but a blast. I mean, it's just awesome. So
Yeah, I mean the people in this community. I mean, granted, it's all virtual for us, but the people in the YouTube prepping community are, bar none, some of the best people I've ever known in my life.
yeah, I agree. I mean, there are several people in my phone that I text on a daily basis and I communicate with on a daily basis that are from this community. I'm actually closer with some of these people than I am members of my own family, which is
Oh
just
yeah,
unbelievable. It's
yeah.
it's really awesome, and I've had the opportunity to meet a few people from the community that live close to me, meet in person, which was really neat. And we were able to share ideas and different things like that, which was awesome. And
Well,
I'm hopefully I want to build on that.
I'll give you two funny ones to kind of touch up on that. We were out at the Granger County Tomato Fair, and I know nobody will know what it is, but it's basically like a huge, I don't want to say flea market, but like a huge farmer's market, but you also have craftsmen and stuff like that out there. So
Right.
it's a pretty big deal out here. And I'm walking through with my wife and a couple of friends of mine, and suddenly some guy goes, "Hey, pinball." I mean, it's like, okay, out of a crowd, a guy spots me out. I was like, okay, so it was really cool meeting somebody. I mean, I didn't expect that. It's like I don't expect anybody to recognize me, but
Yeah, that's crazy.
my wife and I got to thinking, there's quite a few people in the relatively local area here because I'm outside of Knoxville, and we had talked about for a couple of weeks here about why don't we try to do a get together where all the people in the local area, could have like a meet and greet, spend a Saturday afternoon discussing, and I mean,
Yeah.
I put that out on a video today, that we're going to put something like that together. And I got people, oh, we're in Kentucky. Oh, we're in North Carolina. Oh, we're down in Georgia. We'll drive up for that. That'd be great. And I'm like, holy crap, people,
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're not that far from me.
I don't know. I mean, depends on where you are. I mean, hell, if you're on the coast, you're 8 or 9 hours from me.
I'm South Central. I'm right on the border of North and South Carolina, South Central. Like,
Okay.
you're probably just a few hours away.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably 3 because we drove down through in
Yeah.
South Carolina. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think
I'm really close to Rockingham. So
oh
yeah, you're
yeah,
not
okay.
that.
Yeah, you're not more than a couple hours away.
Yeah, I was actually looking at property up that way, North Georgia, Tennessee, but I found this and I just couldn't turn it down. So, which is cool. Like I've got a huge lake. It's probably 4 acres. Less than a football field from me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so my water's taken care of. I'm getting back into the gardening thing, doing a bunch of crazy experiments. It's going good, but and getting to know people and just taking steps forward, which is awesome. And I think a meet and greet would go over real well because there are a lot of preppers. I mean, Tribe's not too far from here. Native and Devout's just not far from here at all.
Okay.
Mr. and Mrs. Prepping Plumber, they're even closer to you than I am. They're close to Charlotte. I mean, there's a lot of people right around here.
Oh, I got I got an email from a guy. I mean, mind you, the town I live in. I mean, I'm out in the sticks, okay, and the town I live in is a little peninsula here. And I had a guy email to me today. He goes, "Oh, I'm in a chapel too." He goes, "I'm right over in the Norris Lakes area." I'm like, holy crap, you're like 5 miles from me.
Oh wow.
I mean,
Yes.
this is only a town of like 1,900 people, but it's okay.
Yeah, it was a big, my big change. I tell everybody, I left a county of close to, let's say it was over 400, almost 500,000 people in the county that I lived in Florida. And I relocated to a county with like 4,000 people in it, so it's, I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to say, I mean, we left Vegas and I'm now in a county with under 30,000 people. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, there's one grocery store in the county that, that's
Exactly. Okay, let's see. Please describe the condition of the supply chain in your area. Is it the same as it was 2 years ago? If not, can you describe the changes that have taken place? Because I know you're going to have some good stuff for this one. I mean, this is a question that everybody's going to have a different answer to.
okay. Now again, like I said, I'm in the sticks. There's two towns. One's 30 minutes north of me. One's 30 minutes south of me. I mean, I've got to get off the peninsula first, and then they're 15 minutes each way. There are an awful lot of mom and pop businesses. I mean, if I look at both towns, okay, both of them, you'd have combined, there are 3 grocery stores, 1 Walmart, and I mean, besides the fast food restaurants, nothing else that is national, okay, at all. I mean, everything else is going to be mom and pops. And I see a lot of them closed. Walmart is still doing its thing because it's the only place to shop within a half an hour, unless you want to drive all the way into the city. The grocery stores still do fine, but with both of them, I see the grocery stores and Walmart. I see a lot of holes on the shelves, trying to find things. I'm trying to think of just specifics. I mean, I talked to a guy at the auto parts store a few months back, and he was like, buy your oil. We're not getting any more. Gasoline has stayed pretty good here ever since the Colonial fiasco. We jumped up to $2.79 a gallon when the Colonial hack went on, and we haven't left $2.79 in 6 weeks or whatever since it's been there. So gas has stayed completely stable here. But again, I'm talking between the 2 counties that are near me, you have 50,000 people tops in these 2 counties. There's not a whole lot of people to put pressure on the supply chain.
Right. I want to address the chat real quick. Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, I'm not purposely ignoring anybody, but what I'm having to do is I'm doing the stream on my cell phone because I have my my Word document with the questions on my laptop, so I can't legitimately look at the chat and communicate with you guys. I'm seeing partial messages, but it's going to be really hard. So if you'd hang on, let us get through the questions. If you have any specific questions for me or Pinball, once we're done, we'll open the floor up for that until he has to leave. Okay, I apologize for that, but I'm not very tech savvy. I'm just figuring this stuff out as I go along. And as far as what you were saying about the supply chain, what I've noticed here is a lot of similarities to what you were saying. But when it first started, one thing that I did notice, like when I would hit Walmart or some of the other grocery stores, I'm a big person on intel. I don't need information. I don't want information. Information is just noise when people open and close their mouth. It really isn't relevant unless it's reliable and it's verifiable. I want intel. So right. I was out. I never locked anything down. If I got to do something, I go do it. And what I noticed, especially at Walmart, was that it wasn't that the shelves were empty. At the very beginning of the pandemic, boom, yeah, you didn't get toilet paper. There was no paper products whatsoever. But then it started hitting. All your rice and beans were gone. All the prepper staples were gone really, really quick. But the really crazy part is it bounced back really fast. And I remember going down the soda aisle, and I would see brands of soda that they don't normally. I mean, they had Cheerwine in Florida, which is very, very hard to find. It's a North Carolina drink.
Right.
So I was seeing all these different products of different manufacturers that have never been sold in that store before. And then I got to thinking, I was like, wait a minute, they shut down the mom and pop grocery stores. So now they're taking all that product and they're bringing it, cross country. They're shoving it into Walmart just so they can keep these shelves full.
Yep.
But then as it progresses, normally Walmart's shelves always stay full. But what I've seen lately, and even still to this day, is it's kind of like a rotating shortage. It's like every other aisle, like on Monday, the even number aisles would be kind of like not stocked very well. But on Wednesday, it would be the odd number aisles were not stocked very well, and the even number aisles just got restocked. So it was really weird. It's like you don't just go in there and they're short on everything. You go in there and they're short on, say, today they're lacking on the milk and butter, but tomorrow it's just full of milk and butter, but you can't find any bread. It's just really weird. I mean, that's what I'm seeing down here, which is really, really strange.
Yeah, see, I see it different. I mean, our shelves here, and maybe it's again because of the community. Our shelves are very much front stocked. My wife drinks Arizona tea, so we'll buy the gallons of Arizona tea. I cannot remember going into Walmart or the grocery store where there's ever been more than 2 bottles, and we'll buy both bottles. That was it. Buying my non-alcoholic beer here. Okay, I mean, if I see it in the store, I don't care when I go, I grab it because it's more often than not, I go to the store and there's none.
Right.
And yeah, it's not like I can't think there's a whole bunch of people around here who are drinking non-alcoholic beer. It's not exactly your normal thing for people to get.
Yeah, and I think companies have taken advantage of this whole supply chain lockdown. It's like the ball mason jars. Okay. Obviously everybody knows I love to can. Okay.
Right.
I wasn't hit very hard because I had a massive surplus before this thing ever started. For some reason, 3 years ago, every time I would go to the grocery store, I would get 4 or 5 cases of lids. So I legit, when this thing all went down, I had over 2,000 lids already stocked up and plenty of jars. And I was just laughing. I got there no mason, and my sister-in-law even asked me a question. She's like, "How did you know to get it?" I'm like, "I didn't know. I just know for one fact, those mason jars are going to last as long as I take care of them. But those jars need new lids every time you do it. So obviously, just get more lids. I get as many as I can. I would get them a case at a time.
Yep.
And then this craziness hit, and everybody didn't have jars and lids, and I'm like, I looked on eBay. There was one case of quart mason jars, wide mouth, on sale for $150 for one case, 12 jars.
Yep.
They're normally
I remember seeing lids, a 12 pack of lids for $24.
And I'm looking at my stockpile and I'm going, I'm rich.
Yeah. Oh, I remember one time buying lids last fall through Amazon, and they came and they, ball lids and everything like that. And they came, and the first thing I looked at these things are fakes. I mean, and you knew they were fake because even on the lid didn't say ball on the top, but the instructions on the side had a misspelling on them. So, okay, somebody in China didn't know how to translate their English.
And here's a common sense question for you. All right. Obviously, you're not a glass maker. You don't work for Ball, so you have no inside information. I'm going to ask you a no nonsense question.
Okay.
Do you think it's harder to manufacture, to stamp out a lid, or to manufacture that glass jar?
Oh, it's got to be harder to make the jar.
So tell me why. The only way you can pretty much find lids is if you have to buy the whole case of jars to get the lids. They're pumping out jars like crazy, but just no lids.
Because
they make more money.
Well, they make more money, but there's also a metal shortage. So it kind of goes into both. If they're going, okay, there's a metal shortage and we can only print out 100 lids. Okay. Well, hell, if we can only print 100 lids, let's put them with 100 jars. We'll make more money.
Yeah, getting that profit. I mean, I understand it from a business standpoint, but and I've even told several people in my community, hey, Hutch, that several of my lids I do reuse. It just depends on what. I had a lot of vacuum sealed stuff. Of course, I'm reusing those lids because I don't vacuum. Now I put everything in Mylar. I take out all my vacuum sealed stuff, all my oven can stuff. I put it all in Mylar, and I do my canning. But say if I did a jar of, say, spaghetti, 8 months ago, and I open it and I eat it, then I'm gonna recan spaghetti and I can use that same lid I'll use the same lid. That way, if there is any taste carryover, it won't mess
Mhm.
with the palate. But
Okay.
I'll reuse lids as long as they're less than 18 months old. I think I don't think that the canning process hurts the lids. I think it's the time that the stuff is. I think there's a time limit on the lids. Once you've canned them once, I think that they'll go bad in a certain amount of time after it's been through that process.
Yeah, see that I don't know. I mean, I mean, I've just bought a couple more cases of jar. Every time I go to the store, I always look to see if there's jars. And yesterday I went and it was like Walmart had 4 cases of quart jars in their limit two. I'm like, okay, I'm taking two, and that was it. It's like my
Yeah,
wife.
I found one case today, and I grabbed it.
That's the first time I've seen jars at our Walmart in probably 3 or 4 months. And I mean,
Wow.
I just, I'll grab them as I see them, and it's like, I've got a whole stack of them upstairs. Well, we're coming into harvest season. I'm picking tomatoes like crazy right now. It's like, okay, making spaghetti sauce, whatever it would be, and
Yeah.
I might as well have them because I mean, I paid $8.50 for a 12 pack of jars. That ain't bad. Okay. I'm not going
That's
to complain.
great.
Yeah. I'm not going to complain about that. It's like, okay, I
Yeah.
bought two cases of jars. Big deal. $17. Fine. You know what? I've got them.
Yeah.
That's
You
it.
got them. Yeah. It was just weird it was. I'm not saying they geared it just for money, but from a business standpoint, it made more sense to put those 100 lids on those 100 jars and make, 13, 14, $15 a pop versus, $4 for
Right.
$3 for, it makes more sense business wise.
Sure.
So I can understand that. Um, have you experienced any drastic price increases of specific products like gas, food, and supplies, tools, materials? And do you see them? Here's the great part: do you see them returning to pre-pandemic conditions?
Okay. I don't have to speak about lumber. We all know that. I mean, I'll give you a dumb one. And those who watch my channel know I had to replace my deck on the back of my house. Okay. Probably should have done it last year. It was ready to do it. It just wasn't in the budget to do it last year. But the deck was to the point where, I mean, I was bouncing on the deck because when I took the thing apart, a couple of the joists were completely on the ground because whoever built the deck didn't use treated wood. Okay. So
Gotcha.
so I had to redo the deck. When I went to do it, it was no choice to do it. It was actually cheaper for me to use composite decking than it was to use treated two by sixes. So,
Yeah.
so that's what we got. I mean, buddy of mine who lives up here works for a home builder, and he's like, forget it. He goes, we had to raise the price of houses somewhere between $40,000 and $70,000 over what they were last year because of the
Yeah.
cost of lumber. He was telling me today they can't get Whirlpool appliances to put in the houses anymore. So seeing things like that.
Mm.
Uh, I mentioned gas. Gas has, I mean, since Potato has been elected, yeah, gas has gone up 50%, but not anything in the last couple of months.
Yeah.
Uh, beef has gone. I'm trying to think of the stuff that everybody doesn't know. Beef has gone up probably double. Uh, I mean, this stuff's gone up 10%. What else have I seen? I pay attention to. Uh, yeah, it's hard to talk about because I have so much of the stuff that I need
Right.
that it's like, oh, going to buy vegetables. I really can't tell you because all I'm doing is eating the stuff I grow.
Right.
Uh, so I can't tell you what that is. We grow more than we eat, so I have plenty to continue to can.
Right.
Uh,
Now I know like the beef here went way up. One thing that didn't really go up here in the Carolinas was chicken and pork. And I think that's because there's so many chicken farmers and so many pig farmers around here that it's so local that it really wasn't that bad. But
yes.
the beef has to get on the vehicle.
See,
I think
I'm trying to think. I mean, going back because I mean, the only thing we buy in pork, I'll buy a pork loin every time. I get this big ass 10-pound pork loin, and then we slice it up or cut it up or can it up, and that I've consistently got that at least in the last year between $1.79 and $1.99 a pound. So that hasn't changed. Chicken, however, I have seen, because we will get 10-pound bags of uh, chicken legs and chicken thighs, and usually could get a 10-pound bag for $3.99. Now they're at $5.99. I mean, it
Oh
goes, oh,
wow.
but everybody goes, oh, big deal. It's a $2 increase. That's a 50% increase.
Yeah, that's a
From
big deal. It's
bucks
a
to
really big deal if it doesn't go back down. I mean, if they're establishing a new baseline, and that's the thing. If they're establishing a new baseline for products, but the value of the money that you use to purchase those products goes down, then you're talking. I mean, that's gonna just. There's no way for that not to be ugly.
yeah.
I mean, there really isn't. There's no way.
No, and I mean the thing is, I mean, I still think that 39 cents a pound was under the market price. I mean, I'm not complaining about 59 cents a pound for chicken, because I can't go to Kroger, and Kroger will have chicken thighs on sale maybe for $1.39 now, normally $1.69, and I'm going, okay, I'm getting legs and thighs for 59 cents. I'm anytime I want, I'm not bitching.
Yeah,
So.
yeah,
I mean, again, the price went up, but it's still cheaper than I can get anywhere else. I mean, there's a grocery outlet here. That's where we shop. It's kind of like, the tiny little IGA type stores. It's like, okay, whatever is the overflow from the store is what you get. And I mean, and the way the wife and I shop it is like, what does the store have this week? Okay, that's what our menu looks like this week. It's not like, oh, gee, Friday night is steak night or whatever it is. Oh, well, steaks are $18.99 a pound. I guess Friday night steak night, we're paying for it. No, but
jeez,
again, it's the same thing. September, we've got a half side of beef coming in. Okay, because I can get that. I can get my beef for $3.70 a pound or something like that. That's steaks and roasts and whatever it is. So, but
so
yeah,
that
I just look.
that
We just go cheap.
yeah. So that leads me into this question, and this is a good one. I know you're going to like this one.
Uh-oh.
What are your thoughts on food being used as a weapon to control the population? And as a prepper, how would you prepare for this?
He who controls the food controls the people. I mean, it's as simple as that, And everybody who follows me knows that I am about the biggest advocate for growing as much food as you can on your own. I mean, I've got 2,100 square feet of garden, and I'd love to have more. I just don't have the time to work more of it. I'm not a farmer. I've got a real job
Right.
I take care of too. But yeah, I mean, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's, and we're being trained on it right now. I mean, this is my belief. Why are beef prices so high? They're trying to do whatever they can to wean us off beef. They're not going to get you to go, gee, the people aren't going to go, gee, you know what? I don't want to eat hamburgers anymore. But they're going to go, I'm not eating hamburgers if it's, $6 a pound for ground beef, or a Big Mac is $9. They're not going to do it. Oh, and right now all this Beyond Meat and whatever the other bug burgers and plant burgers are is more expensive, but they'll eventually bring the price of that down and go, look, it tastes just like beef, and it's high protein, and and it's cheaper too.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing, is they're trying to raise the price of normal food higher than the point of all this disgusting crap.
Yep. All right. So here's the lightening of the mood. All right. If you were a member of an intelligent race of aliens traveling the galaxy looking to meet new life forms, would you land on Earth, or would you change course and hit the gas?
Depends on where on Earth I landed. If I landed, if Washington was my landing spot, I'm out of here. Warp speed 7. No. Actually, in that scenario, in all seriousness, I'd pass Earth by. If you are an intelligent enough life species to be able to go on by Earth, don't bother stopping here. You aren't going to find anything that
Yeah.
we're going to be able to offer to you.
Yeah, this is definitely the armpit of the galaxy right now, for sure. Yeah. So do you see any light at the end of the tunnel at all this crap we're dealing with right now? I mean, without getting too political or religious or anything like that. I mean, and you even got to say what it is. You can just answer yes or no.
No, I mean, I don't like yes or no answers. I hate closed-end questions. Yes, I do see a light at the end of the tunnel. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. But I think what's going to happen is over time, and I can't tell you if that's 6 months or 6 years, that the people of the world are going to go, this ain't happening. You're already seeing all these protests in France and in Australia. And, look at the Olympics. You got 85% of the people in Japan protesting the Olympics. People are going to get fed up with the feudalism, the control of the elites telling you, you can do this, you can't do this. And, as much as the elites believe they are all powerful, there's only a few of them. I mean, I try to explain this to people all the time. If you think about the United States, there's 535 people in Congress, a vice president and a president. That's your federal government. There's 335 million of us. There's 537 of them. Why the hell are they telling us what to do? They keep forgetting they work for us, not the other way around.
Yeah, they're supposed to work for us. I don't think they've been doing that for a long time.
Right. But I mean, what is it? I mean, if the entire population says, hell no, we won't go, we're not going to do it. What are they going to do to stop us?
Yeah, good point. How?
Yeah. Oh, the military's on their side. Oh, no. I hate to tell you this. I mean, the military, the police, the law enforcement, and I know what everybody loves to say. They're gonna bow down to the politicians. No, you may have some, but most of those people are going to be making sure they take care of their own before they take care of some politician.
You'll have some, but they're easy to recognize. They'll be wearing the tight, skinny jeans.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. They'll be having they're the ones that are pushing to get the man buns approved to be, an acceptable haircut in the military and all that good stuff. So they stand out in the crowd.
There's 11 million veterans in this country who are well trained too. That's what they keep forgetting.
Yeah.
You and me know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I mean, I wish them, hey, all the best, but that's not going to end well.
No.
It is what it is. But that's it for the questions. You want to take a couple from the chat before you got to go?
Sure. I'll let you pick the questions and I'll do what I can.
Anybody got anything for pinball? Which I'm sure you do.
That's okay. I'm going to get an hour of it in here in a minute.
I'm sure there was a lot of questions earlier. Guns, ammo, food, and water. Melissa, I agree. They're in the wrong order, but I agree with all four of those.
I'll ask you a question real quick, Ghost.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Senate saying the other day about adding women to selective service?
Here's the thing. I don't even know why it should be an issue because it should have been done a long time ago. I mean, if you're putting females in the Army Rangers and the Special Forces and in the Navy SEALs, then yeah, it's not that you can't. That's a stupid question. I mean, legitimately, that's like, why would you? And they're going to debate it. Why are you debating it? That they're already doing it. You got females wearing CIBs. You got females in command of infantry companies. You got females in command of special operations forces in the military active right now. Now, granted, you changed the rules to make sure those females got in there. And I'm going to be really, really clear about this because I am a veteran. I have absolutely nothing against a female serving in any job in the military she wants to serve in. Anything. And I worked with some tier 1 and tier 2 guys in my unit. But let me tell you something. The standards do not change. If you can do the job the way the standards are set, then yeah, you can do it. You don't see them changing the standards to be a firefighter. No, if you're a female firefighter, you got to hump it just like the men do. You've got to carry that body. You've got to carry those hoses. You've got to climb those ladders. They don't change it. And there's a very important reason why, because I weigh 230 pounds. A 110-pound female is not going to be able to throw me over her shoulder and get me out of the hot zone. It just ain't going to happen. not without 2 or 3 other people helping them.
I've
And
asked,
that's to it.
I've
If you
asked
can do
quite
that,
I've asked quite a few other veterans the same question, and you gave me the same answer as everybody else's. If you can do the job, I got no problem with it. What
none
what
whatsoever.
what
None whatsoever. I mean, it's
you wanted equality. Equality comes at 100%. You do the same job, you get the same pay, you get everything else. You have the same responsibility. Don't say we want this part of it, but not this part of it. That's not equality.
yeah, you can't pick and choose.
Right.
You can't pick and choose. And it's and I've watched the standards, the PT standards especially, keep going down and down and down and down every single year since, like, right now, legitimately, my I remember distinctly it was 11 minutes and 54 seconds to max the PT test on a 2-mile run in
Right.
1989 when I joined. And it took me a year, but I finally maxed all 3 events on the PT test. And I did my 2-mile run in 11 minutes and 42 seconds or something like that. Now, that's like, that's like, I can't remember what the standards are now, but it's several minutes difference. I mean, I could legitimately pass the military PT test jogging.
Because I'm going back to remember. I don't remember the time. I know 11:54. I know 11 something would have maxed the run, but I know the PT standards have changed because when I was in, it was sit ups, push ups, and a run, and now you
Yep.
got pull ups and all this other stuff.
Yeah, you
But
have all these alternate things.
yeah, to pass, and I don't know, you tell me if it was different when you were in, but to pass, it was a minimum 30 sit-ups, a minimum 30 push-ups, and you had to do a 2 miles in something like under 17 minutes. And this is for, 18, 19-year-olds.
Yeah. Now it's just crazy. I mean, to pass it when I was in, and it was the max was 11:54 on the run. I think the worst you could do on it was like, I want to say it was 15, 16, 17 minutes, something like that. You could basically jog it and pass. Like, if you
Mhm.
didn't pass out on the side of the road, you could pass the run. Now, if you just ran at a decent pace and walked it the rest of the way, you could do it. But
Yep.
the push-ups and sit-ups, I want to think it was 90 something on the push-ups and high 60s, I think, in the sit-ups.
To
Or maybe,
max.
yeah, Matt. I can't remember what the minimum was. I know it was a lot less.
Yeah. It was
It's like
30, the
like
minimums.
you legitimately couldn't fail it unless you were trying to. And now it's like you can't fail the PT test. Like, you legitimately cannot fail. Like, if you can breathe, they'll pass you. It's hilarious.
Oh, it's because they're so short-handed. They're meeting recruitment goals year after year after year after year after year. They can't afford to broom somebody out. I mean, the recruiters are saying 80% of the kids coming out of high school now don't qualify because of criminal records or for drug use.
Yeah. I mean, I remember in basic, if you didn't pass your PT test, you got recycled.
Mm-hmm.
And you did it all. And I don't mean you just had to take the test over again.
No,
You got bumped back to week 2 or week 3, and
yeah.
you did everything all over again. So, yeah, they did. Now you just don't fail the PT test. They don't fail you. They do not fail you. They push you on through.
Yeah, well, welcome to the school system in the United States. You can graduate high school and you don't have to know how to spell your name.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't pay me to enlist right now. Seriously, I wouldn't do it. The standards are too low. The standards are way too low. We have it's just terrible. It's terrible. But it is what it is. But so has anybody out there got anything for Pinball or myself? Because it's getting close. It's actually quarter till right now, and he's got to.
I can go about 4 or 5 more minutes.
4 or 5 more minutes with Pinball. Oh, here's one. Pinball. All the money. Here we go.
Okay. All the money put back.
All the money put back for retirement. How long till we lose it in financial collapse, and how will it have any value afterwards?
Okay, so it all depends on what you've got it put back in there at Be Charming, because I'm assuming you're talking your 401ks, your IRAs, anything like that. I mean, a pension plan is total difference because pension plan is going to be in the company stock and you're live or die with how the company does. But if you're talking about where it's something in the way of self-directed, your 401k with whatever choices you have, or your IRA, which you can basically do anything in. I am still 100% on board. What I said the beginning of the year is you see the Dow under 20,000 by the end of the year. I mean, that means you're talking about it cut in half from here. Okay, so that means, you know, if you're, let's say you're just invested in the S&P 500, you're going to lose half your money. Now, if you are invested in precious metals, you're not going to see any massive gains, but you're not going to see any massive losses either. So you know, again, that's wealth preservation. I talk about that quite a bit. The bond market's a waste of time because you know you're not earning anything on your money. You're taking all the risk and you're getting no return. Crypto, everybody knows that I am not a crypto fan at all, and I still get a kick out of all the people saying it's 60,000. Oh, crypto's the greatest thing in the world. And I'm like, yeah, now it's at 30,000. So I was at 50% kick in the balls doing it. But I can't give financial advice to everybody because everybody's situation is different. That would be irresponsible of me. Trust me, being an ex-broker, that would be why. But I would definitely be looking at safe havens for my money right now, and do not consider insurance a safe haven. Insurance is the most crooked thing you can get. Don't let anybody talk you into an annuity. But yeah, I would be looking at, you know, simple gold, silver, physical. Okay, if you can get it in an IRA. In an IRA, you can get physical gold and silver. In a 401k, you probably don't even have the option. In a 401k, I'd almost be looking at sitting in the money market at this point and letting the market fall apart around you.
Okay, last one. Hey, Pinball, what do you think will happen in the next few months that we should be concerned about?
Lockdown. Simple as that. And I've got a video that's going up on it tomorrow morning, but I'll talk about it here real quick. Come next Sunday, the rent moratorium ends. Okay, unless of course they extend it again. I know Texas has already extended it for 2 months on a state level basis, but Biden's administration has not given any sort of hint that they're going to extend the rent moratorium. Here's why I think it's going to happen. Because that's a political football that nobody wants to touch, okay? Because, you know, you have the renters that aren't paying rent that'd be thrilled if it's extended, but you have the landlords that are going to be pissed off because now it's more money they're going to lose, okay? So they don't want to touch this. But as we go into fall, cold and flu season, I'm not talking about, you know, any variants or anything. I'm talking your typical cold and flu season, but we're already seeing everything being primed up for us. Oh, there's more people, there's more people, there's more people. So what's the easiest cop out for the politicians? We go into a lockdown on Friday this week, okay? And they say, well, because we're in a lockdown, you can't evict people. It's not a political decision, it's a health decision.
Yeah,
that's what I think is the near-term issue. I could be totally all wet on that one, but I think that's what, and it may not happen Friday. It could happen a couple of weeks out because it's not like on Monday morning everybody's evicted. But that's what I see happening.
Oh yeah, I can see that. All right, it's 10 till. I don't want to hold you any longer. I know you got to get ready for your show, but I would like to take a moment to thank you for coming on here with me. And it sucks that we missed 101. I'll have to get him on another show, but I want to thank you for stopping by, and I want to thank all of the people in your community and your subscribers for coming over and hanging out with us. And you know, I mean, like 350 people in here. That's like 3 times higher than any number I've ever had in a live stream since I started doing this. That's awesome. I appreciate it so much. And thanks everybody for stopping by. I appreciate it, and you're all welcome back anytime.
I appreciate the invite from you, and thank you for your service as well.
Thank you.
All right, guys. I'll see a lot of you guys in about 10 minutes.
Yep. Everybody, we're going over to Pinball's channel. We're going to hang out with him for a while.
See y'all.
Good night. Bye, everybody.